Now I'm very happy to welcome and ask on stage Matthias Hartmann, the CEO of Techem.
Hi,
Matthias. Good, great to have you here, and not only great to have you here, but also thank you a lot for being in that amazing environment. We enjoy a lot. I think for all the listeners and seers outside, you can tell how amazing the office is, and thank you, so fantastic, very good. Matthias, talking a little bit, like moving backwards now the 3 months. So as mentioned, your colleagues like Marina and Alexander, they have been like heavily involved with the teams, challenges, ideas and all that, to come to like some good successes and share their insights. So 2 questions to you. Why did you join the mission, and how did you or your teams perceive so far the collaboration with the teams and us?
Well, first of all, I'm very much looking forward to the session today, because I think the teams have done a stellar job. It's not always been easy, but it's been an exciting journey for everybody, and today it culminates in these final pitches. So this is a good opportunity to stay close to the team today.
Yeah.
Given your question, why do we collaborate and why do we join the mission? First of all, I'm a big believer that innovation, at the end of the day, isn't coming out of silos. Mm-hmm. Of course, Techem, with its long history of nearly 70 years, we have shown quite a good amount of innovations over the decades, but the world is changing that fast that we need to grab different innovation pools and thus bring different breeds and thinking modes together. And I think the mission is a very good model that shows how established players can successfully jointly innovate with the latest thinking coming out of the schools, the business schools, technology sectors and what have you. And I think also I'm looking beyond the mission in order to find models on how we can continue to collaborate, helping innovative PropTech and startups to kind of promote their business idea.
And so far, how did the teams, I mean, you met some of the teams 2 weeks ago, right? So what's your thought? Impressions?
I was really very positively surprised by the diversity, and I mean diversity in every sense of the word. I think there is a lot of inclusive thinking going on. I felt there is a good mix of talent when it comes to the different sectors of experience that you need, whether that is technology, whether that is business, whether that is sustainability, and the thinking about how we can drive energy consumption down. So it was a very good, vibrant evening, I would say, and we had a lot of fun.
That's true, indeed. Okay, but now talking a little bit about the topic itself, so energy transition, energy transformation, specifically in the real estate sector. So you mentioned it's important to get some new solutions and ideas in, but that's quite broad. I mean, you mentioned already like PropTech and some idea. So where do you think we should start? I know it's such a big, you could start anywhere, but where's the core of starting it, and what's then the potential impact on the industry?
Yeah. I felt, and we at Techem felt, that this specific mission that we are on is a different one and is a unique one, because I think the whole topic around energy and real estate is tackling directly one of the biggest challenges that I think planet Earth and all of our environment really has, which is to come to a sustainable model, because it is especially the real estate sector on the one hand, which is not meeting at all their CO2 reduction goals, and on the other side, that does not go and has to be tackled together with the energy sector.
Right.
These 2 sectors have been cooperating in some elements, but have never really worked truly together. And I think what we are seeing here coming together is a really joint approach. And nobody can walk it alone, you know? There is deregulation going on that forces us to think across the industry barriers, and industry lines are blurring. So this for me is an excellent example on how this comes together. The task at hand is huge. It's not easy. We are talking in real estate about a sector that has been slow to respond to digitization. Right. We are talking about a sector on the energy side that has a huge task to become finally greener than they are today. I think it needs, across the boundaries, all the best minds to come together, be clear about innovation, and then drive it forcefully.
Right. Sounds good. Yes, perfect. Okay, Matthias, I perceive you as, I would say, like an amazing transformational CEO. So what I've heard for you during our conversations, you are quite strong in transforming things, changing things. And also in German, I would say, wachrütteln. So I don't know how in English that translates now best, but like really shake up things. And so, of course, you have something to look into the industry, but I also would like to be interested, how do you do that transformation internally? How do you drive change with your employees and your organization? And how do you also empower people to do that change?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would say that transforming a business that does well is never the easiest starting point. But I think we have to look into the broader context to understand that the planet is in a real crisis. And it took us some time to realize how we, with our services, can be part of the solution driving that change. So I think, for me, that is, in transformation, a very purpose-driven approach. And we are a heat cost allocation company, a sub-metering company. If you look from the outside, looking at our 70 years of history, that isn't all that exciting. Yeah? It looks like a pretty boring job to do, but it forms now the basis that we can digitize the whole chain of heat consumption in buildings. We can digitize buildings as such. You have to bring this in the minds of your own people.
Yes.
So because this is where transformation starts. In my career, I've learned that, that's my guess, you need about 2/3 of the people to be on board. And you get them on board if you draw a vision that they can believe in. Because when I go up in the morning and I look into the mirror in the bathroom, I ask myself, why am I going to my desk at Techem? And I'm saying, and that's the purpose we defined. We will help the energy transition on a digital manner in buildings. We will make this world, this piece of the world, this part of the world, a better place. So I think this is something that people can relate to. So that's number one. I think the second piece is you have to get people on board by understanding what they think. So I'm a big believer in pulse surveys. I'm a big believer in open, free communication, trying to take the bull by the horn, and hopefully I can bring some of my passion over to my team.
Good. Yeah, sounds good. All right. Let's talk about the last topic, sustainability. It's in aller Munde, I would say in German. And sometimes I think for few people it's also a black box because it's not really kind of measurable. Maybe it is, but I always say like what you cannot measure, it's like difficult also to kind of have impact on. So what's your thought or what's your recommendation in terms of not only sustainability, like everyone wants to be sustainable, but how to track this, track performance in the organization and also in corporate to at the end then also come to the successful goal in terms of energy transition?
You know, I think the biggest problem for all of us is, given the size of the task at hand, is to cut it into pieces and not to try to solve everything in one strike. Because it starts with energy efficiency. Before we have all green energy, which is today not available to everybody, we have to start taking those 6, 8, 10% of reduction down, which we can do with not a lot of investment, but through digital means. So we have to start and then walk the staircase down until we reach climate neutrality in buildings. And that is possible. And why do I say it has to be not costing too much money? You know, this is about tenants. We are servicing 6 million apartments in Germany, another 6 million in Europe. So I reach in Germany about 15 million Germans, if you like, in their personal apartment with my service. They are paying more and more money to pay their rent. So we have to be very careful that whatever we do for climate reduction and for climate efficiency is a cost-efficient way of doing things. And that's what we are trying to do. We don't try to boil the ocean. Not everything has to be censored at one step, but currently we are rolling out all of the digital technology that we have in order to do the first steps. And we don't have a lot of time, and we can't do it alone, which is why I believe, again, coming back to the mission, it is so important that we have different industry players coming together, that we have people from so diverse backgrounds, globally, internationally, together to work on that task. Because if there is one problem that hasn't time to wait, it is this one.
Wow, perfect closing word.